When you become very dependent on a long global supply chain and just-in-time production, and something goes wrong, it can have cascading effects that ripple through the economy for a long period of time. Think of a chain with many links. And if the links come apart, then you don't have a chain. So basically, we have a global supply chain where not just one, not just two, not just three of the links are coming apart and have come apart, but there are breakages in the chain at many different parts. One of the things that is happening right now is that the economy is recovering much faster than a lot of people anticipated. And because of the pandemic and because in the early stages, many of us shifted from spending our money buying services because hotels and restaurants and coffee shops and bars, those kinds of things were largely shut down. We couldn't go to the gym and that sort of thing. So we shifted our spending into purchasing physical goods. And those goods come from somewhere, and many of them are manufactured abroad. And to get them to us, they get put in a container and they get loaded onto a ship and they get sailed across the seas. And then what's supposed to happen is that the container ships arrive and we unload them and the merchandise makes it to the store. But what's happening is, and people have probably seen this, that the ports are very backed up. One of the parts of the supply chain that's been broken, that we've been dealing with really for a long period of time, has to do with semiconductors. Semiconductors produce computer chips, and computer chips are used in lots of things, including your telephones, household appliances, and automobiles. Over many years, we've become in the US more and more reliant on semiconductors that are located in other parts of the world, especially in Asia. So when there's a COVID outbreak at a semiconductor plant in, say, Taiwan or Malaysia, and they have to stop producing for a while, that creates a break in the chain. What we should do is build more resilient supply chains. We need to not be so dependent on the rest of the world in this just-in-time manufacturing. We're starting to see some companies already talking about bringing some production back onshore so that you don't have to go the long distances to get things, produce more computer chips here, build semiconductor manufacturing capacity here domestically. It's making investments in ports, in bridges, in roads, in rail, and there is a lot of that in the president's proposed Build Back Better agenda. There's money in the bipartisan infrastructure package, which already passed. That's really going to invest heavily in the kinds of things like ports and roads. The physical infrastructure is there. And then the Build Back Better agenda also has money for other kinds of what people have sometimes called infrastructure, the care economy, and dealing with if a lot of people are having trouble returning to the workplace, either because they're afraid of the virus or because they're having trouble finding affordable childcare options, then some of the things that are in the president's Build Back Better agenda will also help alleviate those kinds of bottlenecks. The holidays are coming. Gift giving, some things might be more difficult to come by right now, but there's going to be plenty of inventory, and those ships are out there and they're full of containers and there are lots of them. So this really is just a matter of easing the bottlenecks at the ports, getting the merchandise loaded onto trucks and transported. They will be in the stores, things will be available. And I think, it's not going to be too many more months before we look back on this and we've all sort of forgotten that it ever happened.